As of right now, you're fired. My manager abruptly announced my termination when I got to work. I had anticipated having another typical day, putting up with the typical snark from my boss, completing my work, and going back to my dilapidated, empty apartment. How did this happen? A woman was waiting for me when I arrived home after packing my belongings. You're home early. That's right. I didn't realize at the time that meeting this homeless woman would fundamentally alter my life. Ryan is my name. I work at an office. Well done today. I'm leaving. You're done for the day, Ryan. Would you like to join me for a drink? My coworker, who must have finished at the same moment, yelled out to me just as I was ready to go. I paused for a moment, considering what I was going to do that night. Nah, I'll pass. You're no fun, man. Come on. You don't even have a girlfriend, is there? At home, you're just going to be bored, right? In fact, the supermarket is having a bargain. I want to get more supplies. You sound so much like a housewife. Wow. In any case, I'll invite you again later. Sorry about that. Luckily, my refusal didn't seem to offend him. Ryan is my name. I'm an office worker who is 25 years old. I live a very impoverished existence. Evening grocery sales are my greatest ally. Naturally, I don't have a girlfriend while I live this way. I live a lonely, unmarried life. There's no need to hurry, I remind myself. I'm only 25. But to be honest, it's sort of disheartening that I've never had a girlfriend in my life. That being said, I can't just find one overnight. I keep working hard at my job and going about my everyday business because I need to organize my life first. I noticed the office was abnormally noisy one day when I got to work as usual. Good morning. What's happening? Oh, Ryan, I just heard. The company president passed away from an illness. The head of state. Like that. Even I find it hard to believe. Right now, the entire business is in disarray. Nobody is going to do much today. Yeah, if the president's gone, what happens to the company? Logically, his successor will take over as the new president, but our department manager, Mark, trailed off mid-sentence. After a brief pause, he forced a neutral expression and said, "Well, the company will probably survive somehow." What was that about? A few days after the president's passing, we were all called together for a meeting. A man we had never seen before appeared before us. Everyone here. All right, let me introduce myself. I'm Brandon Mitchell, the son of the former president. From today onward, I will take over as the new president of this company. The president's son. I had no idea he had a son. Well, if that's the case, it makes sense that he takes over. But I noticed a few people around me looking uneasy. All of them were longtime employees, including Mark. What's going on? It didn't take long for me to find out. So, Mr. Mitchell made another unilateral decision. Yes. What should we do? Let's put that on hold for now. Take these documents to the department head and have them proceed with this instead. Understood. It had been a few days since Brandon took over as president. Ever since then, the company had been in constant turmoil. Mark, our department manager, looked completely exhausted. Good morning. Are you all right? Oh yeah. Thanks, man. Mr. Mitchell is really giving us a hard time. Things seem pretty rough. Mr. Mitchell has no clue about running a company. I remember the previous president once muttering that he was worried about letting his son take over. What? Seriously? So that means our company's management right now is basically. It's running without him. The executives, senior managers, and department heads are all scrambling just to keep things afloat. I had no idea things were that bad. I'm sorry I didn't notice. If there's anything I can do to help, even just a little, let me know. Thanks. Just hearing that means a lot. I never imagined Mr. Mitchell would be this kind of person. Is our company really going to be okay like this? As I was mulling over my concerns, an even bigger problem was waiting for me. When I returned from an external sales visit, I saw Mr. Mitchell walking toward me from the front. "Hello, sir." "Yeah, hey, what's your name?" "Oh, Ryan." I never expected him to ask for my name. It's not like our company has a massive number of employees. I figured as president, he'd at least know that much. Mr. Mitchell stared at me, his gaze filled with an unpleasant sense of scrutiny. "Oh, what is it? How old are you? You can't be much younger than me, right?" "I'm 25. 25. So we're the same age, huh? And you're still just a regular employee?" "Heh." Did he just scoff at me? No. Maybe I imagined it. No way, right? "Aren't you embarrassed? You're 25 and still a nobody, while I'm already a company president." "Oh, well, that's because your father was the previous president. It's all because of my own ability. A lowly employee like you could never understand my struggles." Spitting those words out, Mr. Mitchell walked off briskly. I just stood there, stunned. Did he just completely mock me? No, there's no doubt about it. He looked down on me. And this is our new president? Now I fully understood why Mark and the others were so stressed out. Even after that, Mr. Mitchell continued running the company however he pleased. The executives were constantly arguing, clearly overwhelmed, while the rest of us could only watch in concern. And for some reason, Mr. Mitchell started singling me out, pestering me at every turn. "Ryan, slacking off already at this hour." "No, it's my break time." Break time. That kind of lazy attitude is exactly why you're still just an entry-level employee. Hard work is what makes you valuable to a company. Right now, you're nothing but a leech. He nagged me about this kind of thing every single day, and my stress wasn't coming from work anymore. It was all because of Mr. Mitchell. Even though he couldn't even manage the company properly, how many times had I wanted to say that to his face? But in the end, I could never muster the courage to speak up. Instead, I just muttered a quiet, "I'm sorry," and escaped the situation day after day. Knowing him, saying the wrong thing could get me fired on the spot. Losing my job suddenly would be a huge problem. I'm already living in poverty, so I can't afford to lose my income. But the stress kept piling up. To clear my head, I started spending more time at a nearby park. I didn't do much there, but listening to the rustling trees and chirping birds helped soothe me. On weekends, I'd see kids playing, running around with boundless energy. Watching them always brought a small smile to my face. Since I couldn't afford any vacations, I had to find ways to unwind close to home. Then, one day, on my way home from work, I glanced at the park and noticed a woman sitting alone on a bench. It was already past 8:00 p.m., because I had stayed late at work. What was she doing here at this hour? She was dressed lightly despite the cold. She looked freezing. It's winter. I should check on her. Please don't call the cops on me. What are you doing here so late? Oh, I'm not doing anything really. You'll catch a cold dressed like that. And it's dangerous for a woman to be out alone at this hour. I'm fine. No matter what I said, she insisted she was okay. But she was clearly shivering, and there was something off about the way she stubbornly refused help. Was she in some kind of trouble? Really, don't worry about me. Oh. See, you're already sneezing. And the weather forecast says it's going to snow soon. Snow? You should warm up. Do you want to use my bath or something? As soon as I said it, I realized how weird it sounded. What am I saying to a woman I just met? She has every right to call the cops on me. Just as panic started to set in, the woman hesitated for a moment, then gave a small nod. If it's not too much trouble, I'd really appreciate it. Are you sure? Her response caught me completely off guard, and I ended up blurting out something weird again. No, That totally sounded like I had ulterior motives. Frantically waving my hands in front of me, I tried to recover. No, it's not a problem at all. My place is really close. Thank you. You're really kind. I mean, I couldn't just ignore a woman freezing out here. But not everyone would be so kind to a total stranger. Oh, well, thanks. Anyway, my place is this way. My voice came out louder than I intended, and I suddenly felt self-conscious. Flustered, I quickened my pace, leading her toward my apartment. While she was in the bath, I scrambled to clean up my place. I'd never had a girlfriend, so this was the first time I'd ever invited a woman over. And a single guy's apartment wasn't exactly the cleanest place. At the very least, I needed to make it look somewhat presentable. As I rushed to tidy up, I suddenly heard a voice behind me. Thank you for letting me use your bath. I feel warm and refreshed now. Oh, that's great to hear. I hadn't noticed in the dim light of the park earlier, but she was absolutely stunning. I just led a gorgeous woman into my apartment. My heart started pounding. Come to think of it, why was she alone in the park so late at night? I hope this isn't too personal, but why were you at the park by yourself? Well, sorry. If you don't want to talk about it, that's totally fine. I was just worried. I see. Thank you. Actually, I have nowhere to go. Nowhere to go. Wait, does that mean? Haha. Yeah, I guess you could say I'm homeless. She gave a small, troubled smile, and I was left speechless. How did this happen? Did she have no one to turn to? How long has she been in this situation? I had so many questions, but the first thing that slipped out of my mouth was, if you're okay with it, you can stay here. At least for now. Huh. You don't have anywhere to stay, right? But it's winter, and sleeping outside would be dangerous. I can't just leave you out there. And staying in a hotel would be expensive. Are you sure? Yeah, though I have to warn you, I'm pretty broke too, so I can't offer much in the way of hospitality. Haha. Thank you. I'm really glad I ran into you at the park. May I ask your name? Oh, I never introduced myself. Sorry about that. I'm Ryan. And you? Ryan. My name is Sarah. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. I had invited her to stay in the heat of the moment, but after hearing she was homeless, I just couldn't turn her away. Yeah, this was an act of kindness. Just helping someone in need, right? Even though the idea of living under the same roof as a beautiful woman made me nervous, I kept telling myself it was the right thing to do. While I was at work, Sarah started taking care of the household chores. At first, I told her she didn't have to, but she insisted, saying, I feel bad just staying here without doing anything. I guess it must have been uncomfortable for her to live here without contributing somehow. And honestly, coming home to find my chores already done made my life a lot easier. Hi, I'm home. Welcome back. I found a great deal on Napa cabbage today, so I made hot pot. Really? That's perfect. It was freezing outside today. Hot pot. Huh. Feeling warm inside, I headed to my room to change. It wasn't just the food. Having someone say, "Welcome home," when I walked through the door and not having to cook for myself. It all felt so nice. At first, I was constantly on edge around her, but now, I was getting used to having Sarah around. Wow, tonight's hot pot looks amazing. Hit. Everything in it was on sale. Seriously, but it looks so fancy. You're really talented, Sarah. Thank you. I had left all the shopping and cooking to her, but knowing how broke I was, she always made sure to buy only discounted ingredients. Her thoughtfulness meant a lot to me, and since I was used to eating alone, meals with Sarah always felt so much more enjoyable. Ha! If only there were someone as considerate as you at my workplace. Sounds like your job is tough. Oh, well, yeah. Our previous president passed away recently, and the new one. Well, let's just say he's been causing a lot of problems. I see. But even so, you shouldn't push yourself too hard. Thanks, I appreciate it. Even when I accidentally let out complaints about work, Sarah never seemed annoyed. She just listened patiently. She was so kind. I never got around to asking, but how did she end up homeless? Talking to Sarah eased my mind a lot. Maybe that's why my performance at work started improving. Ryan, have you finished summarizing those documents? Yes, I have. I also made some adjustments to make them easier to read. What do you think? Adjustments. Oh, this is great. It took time to find specific information before, but now everything is right where it needs to be. Thanks. No problem. I just want to be helpful to you and the team. I'm really lucky to have a subordinate like you. Gradually, I started receiving more praise from Mark. Living with Sarah had taught me the importance of consideration. Would this make things easier to read? Would this help my coworkers? The more I put thought into my work, the more others appreciated it, and the more satisfied I felt with my own efforts. It helped in my day-to-day tasks and even when I was out on sales visits. As my work performance improved, however, Ryan, you've been doing well lately, haven't you? Good evening, sir. As a junior employee, working hard should be a given. Don't start thinking you're special just because you're finally pulling your weight. I know that. Good. In that case, I have more work for you. Get these reports summarized by tomorrow. Wait, what? This isn't just one day's worth of work. I need time to gather the data. A capable employee like you should be able to handle it. And if you can't finish in a day, just stay at the office until it's done. You can't be serious. Besides, a low-level employee leaving on time, or after just an hour of overtime, is ridiculous. That's just laziness. This was beyond unreasonable, and from the looks of it, the work was actually urgent. Everyone else seemed too swamped to help. Fine. I guess I have no choice. I hated Mr. Mitchell, but I still cared about this company. The previous president had treated me well too. In the end, I didn't get to go home until past midnight. To my surprise, when I arrived, Sarah was still awake. Welcome home. You're really late. Are you okay? Sarah, you're still up? Yes. You weren't coming home, so I was getting worried. Sorry. I had no choice but to work overtime. Did Mr. Mitchell make you do it again? Yeah. You really see right through me, huh? Not really. I just had a feeling. It's late, but do you still want dinner? Yeah. Sorry for making you wait. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I'll warm it up right away. I felt bad for making her worry. How long is this going to continue? My only real source of stress was Mr. Mitchell. A few days later, when I arrived at work, my eyes widened at what I found on my desk, a termination notice. On my desk lay a termination notice. My name was carefully written on it, clear as day. There was only one person who could have done this. Grabbing the paper roughly, I stormed toward the president's office. Mr. Mitchell. Whoa, what's with the sudden shouting? What's the meaning of this? Leaving a termination notice on my desk. A termination notice? This? You're the one who issued it, aren't you? I thrust the paper toward him, but his expression remained puzzled. I didn't do this. Then who did? You're the only one who had it out for me. Doesn't matter what you say. I don't know anything about it. Someone else must have done it. Was he really telling the truth? If this was his doing, I expected him to smirk and say something like, "Well, I guess you're fired then." But his reaction was far from that. It threw me off a little. So then, who put this on my desk? As I stood there, confused, Mr. Mitchell straightened up and spoke again. Well, Since the termination notice exists, you'll have to leave the company anyway. So even though you didn't issue it, you're still firing me. That's right. If someone went through the trouble of preparing it, I have to respect that decision. This made no sense, but the document was real. Arguing any further would be pointless. With no other option, I packed up my belongings and left the company. How was I supposed to tell Sarah about this? That thought was all I could focus on. I never imagined I'd lose my job so suddenly. I'm home. Welcome back. You're home early today. Sorry, I got fired. I decided to be honest and tell her everything. How I found the termination notice on my desk this morning. How I confronted Mr. Mitchell only for him to claim he had nothing to do with it. And how, despite that, I was still let go because the document existed. After I finished explaining, Sarah gave me a small smile. I'm sorry for how sudden this all was. That termination notice. I'm the one who prepared it. Her unexpected words left me gaping in shock as I stared at her. Sarah, you did this. What do you mean? I've been keeping a lot from you. Let me explain everything from the beginning. Okay. First, my name. My last name is Mitchell. Mitchell? Wait, like the president? Yes, originally, I was supposed to inherit the company. But my younger brother, Brandon, forcibly took the position from me. You two are siblings. Wait, then how did you end up being homeless? You were supposed to be the company's heir, right? At that time, I guess Brandon saw me as an obstacle and kicked me out of the house. Kicked you out? That's awful. So that's why you were at the park. Yes, but I'm really grateful I met you, Ryan. If I hadn't, I might have collapsed from the cold out there. I'm really glad I found you. I couldn't believe they were siblings. So all this time, I had been venting to Sarah about her own brother. I felt kind of bad. But then again, he was the kind of person who would throw his own sister out. Maybe I didn't need to feel guilty after all. I finally knew Sarah's true identity, but the mystery of the termination notice still remained. When I urged her to continue, she nodded. A few days later, I discovered that my father had secretly set up a new business for me. He did. Yes. He must have realized that Brandon was after the company and started the new business in secret. Brandon still hasn't figured it out. I see. So your father really cared about you. My father was always very perceptive. And so, I became the president of that company. Wait, what? You're president? Sorry for keeping that from you. No, it's fine. But then, why the termination notice? I heard all about how Brandon was mistreating you, bullying you and dumping work on you. I prepared the notice so I could recruit you. Suddenly, everything clicked. Because I had vented to Sarah so often, she knew all about how Mr. Mitchell treated me, and she wanted to help by bringing me into her company. Are you sure about this? Yes. After hearing so much from you, I know you're hardworking and thoughtful. I'd love for you to put your skills to use at my company. Yes, I'd love to. I never imagined things would turn out this way. Apparently, Sarah had already talked about me at her company, and everyone welcomed me warmly. Some even said, "So, you had to deal with that guy. That sucks. Want to go out for drinks? I'll treat you." They were good people. The work itself wasn't all that different from my previous job, which helped a lot. I didn't have to learn everything from scratch, and I could contribute right away. And best of all, there was no one dumping work on me or harassing me anymore. I could finally focus on my job. My efforts paid off, and Sarah's company started growing rapidly. What was once a small business soon became big enough to rival my former company. One day, I got a message from an old coworker. "I need to talk to you." For the first time in a while, I met up with my former coworker. "Yo, long time no see. I was surprised when I heard you left so suddenly, and even more surprised to find out you joined the former president's daughter's company. Ah, yeah. Sorry that I hadn't told you anything. Ever since then, our company's been a mess. Everyone keeps comparing Mr. Mitchell to his sister, and he's been on edge nonstop. It's exhausting. Really? Yeah, I mean, suddenly the company that's rising the fastest is the one run by the woman who should have been our president. Everyone's saying she would have been the better choice. Well, that makes sense. People are fed up. Man. By the way, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. Is your company hiring? Ha. A lot of us just can't take working under Mr. Mitchell anymore. They all want to leave and join you. So that's what this was about. The upper management, who had been holding things together, must have finally reached their limit. Got it. I'll talk to Sarah about it. That'd be a huge help. When I told Sarah, she responded immediately. Of course, we'll gladly welcome them. Once I passed the message along, it became clear just how many people wanted to leave. One after another, they started transferring to our company. No way. Is this really happening? Even Sarah looked surprised. At this point, it might be faster for us to just buy out Brandon's company. Buy it out. Yes, if we merge, people won't even need to switch jobs. And in that case, who would be the president? We'll let the employees decide. Sarah smiled elegantly. Well, let's be real. The outcome was obvious. The companies merged, and when it came time to choose the president, the decision was made in an instant. Not a single person nominated Brandon. It was clear why. His behavior had finally caught up with him. No one wanted a reckless leader like him in charge anymore. Why? Maybe you should reflect on everything you've done. Ryan, this is your doing, isn't it? I know it is. Stop blaming others. Oh, and here, this is from the president. A termination notice. You have no trust from your employees. Your management was a disaster. And no one wants a president who only causes problems. So, goodbye. You can't do this. I'm the president. Former president. Now that you're an outsider, please leave immediately. According to what Sarah later told me, Brandon, with his lack of real-world experience, struggled to find another job. His poor reputation as an ex-president who got fired only made it worse. He brought it upon himself. He looked down on everyone, but in the end, without his father's help, he wasn't even worth a low-level employee. Honestly, he should be grateful he wasn't kicked out of his own house. As for Sarah, oh, Ryan, can you head home first? If you're still working, I'll stay and wait. You really don't have to. I need to stop by the supermarket on the way home anyway. We might as well go together, right? That's true. Okay, I'll wrap this up quickly. She was still living at my place. Well, to be more accurate, we had started dating. Since then, spending time together was fun, and she had always been my emotional support. Before I knew it, I had completely fallen for her, and it seemed like she felt the same way. So now, instead of being a guest, she was officially my living partner. There will be challenges ahead, but as long as we're together, I know we can overcome anything.
Absolutely not. Why would a low-level employee like you use paid leave to come to a luxury hotel like this? Don't mess with me. Approval for paid leave. That was just to keep you guessing, obviously. I never imagined you'd actually take time off to come here. This was the day I took my mother to a luxury hotel as a Mother's Day present. My arrogant boss was waiting for me at the hotel, yelling and looking down on me with disdain. But he doesn't know my mother is not just any ordinary woman, and that his life was about to take a turn for the worse. My name is Kevin. I grew up in a single-parent household after my parents divorced when I was young. From a young age, I noticed how busy my mother was, working hard to provide for us. As a kid left in daycare, I was always the last one to be picked up. "Hey, Mr. Johnson, where's my mom?" "Not here yet. She'll be a bit later. Wanna play with blocks?" "I guess, but all my friends have gone home already." "Then let's build a big truck with the blocks together." Mr. Johnson at the daycare probably felt sorry for me waiting for my mom every evening. He always suggested fun activities to keep me entertained. Even in elementary school, life wasn't much different. Unlike daycare, which cared for me until 7:00 p.m., after-school programs only went until 6:00 p.m. and cost extra for extended hours. After 6:00 p.m., I would walk home alone on dark streets, watching other kids leave with their parents. Sometimes friends' parents worried about me and offered me a ride home, but it felt more miserable, and I hated them seeing my dark, empty house. So I would rush home alone. I never expressed my loneliness or frustration to my mother. Even as a child, I understood she was working hard. I had a vague sense of our financial struggles and debt, so I kept my feelings to myself, enduring the loneliness silently. As I got older, I turned to sports to distract myself from the loneliness. Sweating and focusing on sports helped me forget the unpleasantness. My childhood was a battle against this loneliness. Thanks to my mother's hard work, our living situation gradually improved. In high school, I was active in sports clubs and worked part-time on my days off. But it wasn't to earn living expenses. My mother's efforts meant it was just for pocket money. Like my friends, I was earning money just for fun. Around that time, I started thinking about my future education. One day, with parent-teacher meetings approaching, I brought it up to my mother. Private universities are a bit too much, but you can go to any public university department you like if you want to pursue higher education. Her response surprised me. "Really?" "Of course. You've been through a lot. I want to let you study as much as you want." "Thanks, Mom. I'll go to college. I'll study hard and get into a public university, so don't worry." "Sorry, Kevin. Thank you." I researched universities that were affordable and within commuting distance from home and studied relentlessly. Balancing work and study was tough, but my mock exam results were promising. "If you keep up these grades, you're likely to get in," my teacher assured me at the parent-teacher-student conference. Encouraged by this, I confidently took my university entrance exams and succeeded, getting into a public university. As a college student, I increased my working hours, but never slacked off in my studies. It was a university I had worked hard to get into. I didn't want to waste that opportunity. I packed my 4 years with lectures, earning more credits than necessary. I also actively participated in club activities, making for a fulfilling 4 years. After graduation, I got a job in the textile industry. Textile work requires a delicate sensibility, but also the physical strength to handle heavy fabric rolls. Thanks to my sports background, I was pretty confident about my physical abilities. As for the delicate sensibility, that's something I'm still looking to polish. Sensibility is honed on the job. "Don't worry," Michael from the sales department told me. His words made me realize that although promotion is great, I wanted to work in the field as long as possible. Once you climb the corporate ladder, you end up doing more paperwork and attending more meetings than actual field work. I shared this view with my peers. "You're quite the unique one," they said. I wondered if most people prefer to climb the career ladder quickly and work comfortably in an office. It seemed I was a rare type. Under Michael's guidance, I worked hard, often meeting demanding requests from clients. Saying I dedicated most of my 20s to work wouldn't be an exaggeration. My life revolved around the company, awake or asleep. Then, one day, everything changed. Cancer? I hesitated to tell you, but being honest is better than causing unnecessary speculation. This is terrible, but it's early, so it's not an immediate threat. Michael had gathered us before work to disclose his cancer diagnosis. Discovered early, there was a chance of recovery and return, but at 55, he decided to take early retirement. I'm sorry to spring this on you so suddenly. I'll ensure a smooth transition and won't burden you further, he said. But are you really okay? Will you recover? There's no guarantee in medicine, but the chances are good with early detection. I won't be gone just yet. Make sure to visit me sometimes. Michael was overwhelmed. I couldn't help but cry, and Michael gently patted my back. Due to his illness, he quickly transitioned his responsibilities and left the workplace a few days later. His successor as department head was David. Hey, starting today, I'm the head of this department. I expect respect, everyone's cooperation with me in charge. Lax work won't be tolerated. Be prepared to work hard. His greeting conveyed a sense of unease, causing frowns among us. But David seemed oblivious. He was someone none of us expected to get promoted to a management position. To put it bluntly, he wasn't exactly known for his competence. But with Michael's sudden retirement, David, by virtue of seniority, unexpectedly landed the role. He disliked being told what to do, often begrudgingly agreeing to Michael's instructions. He was also known for lashing out at objects and yelling at juniors, not the kind of person you hear good things about. Until now, Michael had kept him in check, preventing any major issues. But now, with Michael gone and David promoted, there was virtually no one to stop him. Moreover, it seemed David didn't quite grasp that it's already the modern era. I'm heading out now. I was finishing up my day's work, ready to leave at the regular time. Hey, Kevin, it's still regular hours. Why are you leaving? David asked, genuinely puzzled. Well, it is the end of my shift, and I've finished today's work, so I'm heading home. What are you talking about? Just because you finished today's work doesn't mean you can just leave. There's always more to do. And you guys too, don't just talk about today's work. Keep looking ahead and keep working. That way, we can secure more contracts, which is only good for the company. Stay late as much as possible. Those who leave on time are incompetent. Work harder. David announced this proudly in front of everyone, leaving us all dumbstruck. Then, when a junior employee tried to take annual leave, "Hey, I heard you applied for an annual leave." "Ah, yes." "What are you thinking?" He confronted him sharply. "Well, everyone else is working hard. You think you can just take an annual leave? Don't mess around. If you have time to spare, work." "No, that day is for a family memorial service." "I've taken annual leaves before, and it was never an issue, so what?" "I'm the boss now. Forget everything that happened before. From now on, taking annual leave is not allowed." His excessively tyrannical behaviour left everyone in the department bewildered. There was even this incident. Who arrives at the last minute like that? As a punishment, come an hour early tomorrow and clean the office. He dished out such senseless penalties. In another instance, "We've met this month's target, but it's still not enough. Tomorrow is Saturday, but I'm calling a meeting, so everyone shows up at the usual time." He also ordered us to come in on a day off for a mysterious meeting. Each time, we all voiced our concerns, but David didn't care. It seemed he had been frustrated for a long time, unable to secure a higher position, and now, as a manager, he was taking out his frustrations on us. "Hey, Kevin, how's it going?" he said one day. "Good evening." "Well, as usual." That's good. But you know, at your age, still being just a regular employee, isn't that a bit incompetent? Bottom of the barrel at your age. It's pretty clear what your future holds, right? It's only a matter of time before the newbies surpass you. Well, anyway, try not to let the newbies overtake you. And of course, I'm counting on you for overtime tonight. David patted my shoulder and walked away, leaving me with nothing but a sigh. A few months passed since David took over. Mother's Day is coming up soon, and I thought I'd splurge on a gift. That's right, it'll be your first Mother's Day since you started working, Jess. So I was thinking maybe a short trip nearby, perhaps an overnight stay. That sounds wonderful. Your mom will be thrilled. But then, I have to do the same for Father's Day, right? I'm thinking about where to go. They both love hot springs, so maybe somewhere with hot springs. Hearing two female colleagues discuss this, I glanced at the calendar. Right, Mother's Day is coming up. Every year, I take my mom out for dinner, but maybe this year, I'll splurge on a luxury hotel for an overnight trip. That's what I was thinking. And as they say, strike while the iron is hot. Figuring that reservations for Mother's Day would fill up quickly, I quickly searched on my cell phone while having lunch. I made the reservation early. Then I returned to the office and immediately applied for a day off. Until the day of the trip, things were relatively calm. I was sure I'd be reprimanded for taking a day off. I was even prepared to be scolded in front of everyone. But surprisingly, nothing was said. In fact, my application was approved the next day, which left me astonished. Kevin, you seem to be in good spirits lately. Something good will happen. I don't think so, just the usual. Well, that's good. Keep up the good work, as always. David was in too good of a mood, almost frighteningly so. Well, as long as things continue peacefully, that's all that matters. But I couldn't shake the feeling of calm before a storm. Then came the day of the trip. In the morning, my mom and I enjoyed sightseeing around the hotel. Well, can we really stay in a place like this? Yeah, I'll go check in now. Just wait here, thank you. While my mom excitedly explored the luxurious hotel, I went to the front desk to check in. But I stopped in my tracks when I saw someone who shouldn't be there. David. Kevin, why are you here? David, what do you mean, why am I here? Why is a low-level employee like you using annual leave to come to a luxury hotel like this? Don't mess around. David grabbed me by the collar, began yelling. I was shocked and confused. But you approved my annual leave request, didn't you? I complained about that. Indeed, David had approved my annual leave for today. Why am I being yelled at now? And in a place like this? That was just to lead you on. I never thought you'd actually take the day off and come here. Lead me on. I don't understand what you mean. Are you kidding me? Ha! I'd like to see the face of a parent who raised such an incompetent person, who can't even understand their own position. What, the face of your parent? I want to see the face of the parent who raised such an incompetent person. David seemed to relish in saying such things. First of all, you don't even do unpaid overtime, and you seem to have no ambition for promotion, staying a regular employee forever. What's wrong with you? Don't you want to get promoted? If you work overtime every day, show some determination and grit. Otherwise, the higher-ups won't value you. Well, you might not understand what I'm saying, being incompetent and all. Sorry for speaking about complex things. He kept ranting whatever he wanted. Feeling the painful stares of those around me, I knew I had to do something about this situation. Hearing the commotion, my mother walked over, realizing something. I turned back to face David. David, what are you saying? Here is my mother. Saying that, I stepped aside to let my mother forward, causing David to freeze in shock. "What? Why are you here?" "Well, hello. I suppose this is our first meeting outside the office, isn't it?" "Why? What does this mean?" "Oh, you know who I am. I assumed I was quite unknown within the company, as we rarely meet." "No way, not knowing our chairman's face. That's impossible." "Well, I'm flattered. Yes, my mother is chairman of our company." Apparently, David knew of her but was unaware of our family relationship. David was completely intimidated in the presence of my mother. "So, David, I've heard everything. My son seems to be under your care. However, your assertions are exactly as my son described." "Oh, well, that annual leave is legitimate, right of employees. You have no business to reprimand for that. And what about this unpaid overtime? Overtime for promotion? Which era are you living in?" Listen, work isn't about blindly putting in hours. It's most important to do it efficiently. Without proper balance, you can't perform well as a professional." I assumed you understood that, but maybe I was wrong. My mother, with a fixed smile, at David completely cowed. "Well, that's enough. I'm not here for work, but for leisure. I don't have the time to spare on you." Chairman, do you have something more for us? Any other business?" "Yikes, no, nothing good." "I'll inform you of your consequences later. Be prepared for that, Kevin. Let's go." "Yes," I said. Seeing my mother so livid after a long time, I couldn't help but break into a cold sweat. Careful not to aggravate her further, I thought. I responded and walked past David, glancing at his face as we passed. I saw a man utterly crushed by despair. After that, my mother and I enjoyed our trip immensely and returned home very satisfied. The day after next, when I went back to work, David's seat was no longer in the sales department. It seemed that my mother had called HR from our trip. David's unreasonable treatment of his subordinates came to delight HR. They had already deemed him unfit for the managerial role, considering him just a stopgap until a more suitable person was hired. Of course, had he performed well, he could have kept his position, but his conduct had sealed his fate. It seemed that David had mistakenly believed he earned his position through his own merit when, in reality, it was more of a fluke. This misperception led to his tyrannical behavior, resulting in an immediate transfer. He was transferred to the logistics department, a place so hot it makes you sweat like a waterfall, where physical strength is essential. The nature of the work there meant it was mostly populated by young, physically strong men, making it a somewhat sweaty environment. David to that logistics department. I doubt he'll be able to keep up. He's probably aiming for voluntary resignation. Well, considering what he's done, it's a fitting consequence. Anyway, with him gone, we can work more efficiently again, which is a relief. Yes, no more unnecessary overtime or working on holidays. It seems we're heading back to a peaceful work environment. Everyone gossiped, but no one truly seemed worried about David. He was probably feeling marginalized now, sweating profusely in the logistics department. I didn't feel a shred of sympathy for him. In the sales department, the position of the next department head was left vacant for a while, and the manager, Steve, temporarily took on the role. We made a mistake with an interim personal decision, thinking it was just for a short while. I apologize for the great inconvenience caused to everyone. The HR department, seemingly reflecting on their actions, came all the way to the sales department to leave words of apology. It seems my mother, though retired as the active chairman, reconsidered the need to keep an eye on the company's internal affairs. The current president, who had been my mother's competent right hand for years, also received a word from her and sent an apology. In the sales department, we were just glad to have our peaceful work environment back and felt almost embarrassed to be apologized to by various parties. Soon after his transfer to logistics, David left the company. It's unclear whether the transfer was a move to encourage his resignation, but working under younger employees must have been unbearable for him, and physically it must have been quite demanding. He was really put through the ringer, someone commented. It's ironic for someone who hated taking orders. He couldn't have lasted long. Such rumours faded within a week. Later, I was summoned by my mother to the reception room. "Kevin, sorry for the sudden call." "It's fine, but what's up?" "Something else happened." "No, it's different." "I was hoping you'd be ready to accept a promotion soon." "A promotion?" "Yes, I'm very grateful you joined our company. I know you've continued to work in the field based on Michael's advice, and you have your own goals and pride in your current job. I think I understand all that." "Then why suddenly?" "It's not sudden. I've been thinking about it for a long time. It's not just me. The president and the HR department agree." "Really, that was surprising to hear, Kevin. Since you joined the company, we haven't had a proper discussion. So, let me say this now. I hope, if possible, you can work towards becoming the next president of the company." "That is certainly. Since I joined the company you founded, I've thought about it eventually, but I still have so much to learn, and I still want to be out in the field." "I understand. But our company's work isn't just about being in the field. Certainly, there are things you can't understand and experience unless you're on site. However, there are also things you can only understand and learn by being in a leadership position, directing others." I understood what my mom was saying. I felt the same way when I first joined the company. I was fully intent on eventually taking over as president. However, after working in the textile industry for 10 years, I grew increasingly anxious about whether I could handle such a big responsibility. I told my mom, "Please let me think about it." I called Michael on the weekend. He had successfully undergone surgery and was now enjoying a peaceful retirement. "I haven't been in touch for a while," I said. "It's been a long time." I discussed the recent events and my mom's proposal with Michael. Honestly, I'm more anxious than confident right now. I worry that standing at the top in this state of mind will only make everyone else uneasy, I confessed. Then Michael quietly said, "Do you have time now? It's your day off, right?" "Yes," I replied. "Then bring me the highest quality fabric sample you're handling right now," he instructed me. I quickly grabbed what I believed to be the best fabric sample I was handling and went to Michael's house. After showing him the sample, Michael commented, "You've really come to understand, haven't you?" He smiled kindly. "It's proof that you've built up solid experience in the field. You should be fine." His words resonated deeply with me. I felt acknowledged for the first time and was moved. "Thank you, I really appreciate it," I said. And that feeling gradually turned into confidence. Encouraged by Michael, I decided to accept my mother's wishes. I was anxious about what others would think of my promotion, being inexperienced in many areas. But when I was actually promoted to manager, everyone seemed happier than I was. "Kevin, congratulations. It's as if it's my own promotion. I'm so happy. Finally, I was wondering why you hadn't been given a position until now. Congratulations, everyone." "Thank you. I may cause some inconvenience by being inexperienced and only knowing the field." "Not at all. We all know how much you've contributed to the company. Don't worry, we'll support you in whatever way we can." "Thank you, really, thank you." The sound of applause was heartwarming. With my promotion to manager, Steve was promoted to department head. As a sales department, we had a foundation to move forward unitedly. Once again after my promotion, I became more proactive in training and guiding within the department. Even though juniors had asked for my guidance before, I was mostly out in the field, so I wasn't often in the office, especially the new female employee who had wanted to ask me many things, benefited from my new focus on sharing knowledge and sales expertise. Perhaps as a result, the company's performance improved. Jess, is there something you still don't understand? No, it's not that. Kevin, do you have a girlfriend? Oh, what? The new female employee asked such a personal question. Looks like spring has finally come for Kevin. Others teased me. I spent several years living through such days. I was promoted to department head, recognized for my achievement as a manager. At first, I was filled with anxiety about my new role, but now I am fully resolved to take over as president when the time comes. This is all thanks to my mother, who showed me the value of hard work from a young age, Michael, whom I respect, and everyone at the company who has supported me. Their encouragement has built my confidence and contributed to the company's growth. Kevin, President Wilson, good to see you. Likewise. How are you finding the department head role? Well, I'm still feeling quite inexperienced. Haha, you're really humble. Quite different from your mother. I occasionally join in for drinks, savouring these moments. He has worked under my mother for a long time. I want to learn as much as I can from him now, about his vision for the company and his approach to leadership. I don't want to rely on my mother's influence. I want to earn recognition for my own abilities. To do this, I'm willing to work hard, even if it means getting my hands dirty. Perhaps sensing my intentions, President Wilson shares various experiences with me. You look much more mature now. Maybe it's just a parent's pride, but you really seem dependable, she says. Hearing her say that, I can't help but feel it's true. Until now, I've been focused solely on fieldwork and my own responsibilities. That was what was required and expected of me. But as my responsibilities have grown, so has my perspective. It's a natural progression, and I need to adapt. Of course, there are things I need to oversee from a higher level, but sometimes it's important to return to the field perspective, ensuring the well-being of the employees and the appropriateness of personnel management. It's precisely because I've always been in the field that I can think this way. My time in the field has broadened my horizons. Still, I remain inexperienced. Just appointed as a manager, I find the thought of aspiring to be president presumptuous. But for everyone who believes in me, who follows me, I want to quickly grow into a role I can be confident in. I aspire to take on that position as soon as possible with confidence in my abilities. There's still much to learn from my mother, Michael, President Wilson, and everyone else. I'll keep my feet on the ground and strive to be a president that would not be an embarrassment. That's my resolve.